It's like I tell everybody, it's just practice, and like even with drumming or whatever your instrument is, if it's your voice, it's a guitar, drums, record yourself because that's the best way to learn. It's just like when I started, I'd record and be like, oh, that sounds terrible. Let me record, let me redo that. Oh, let me redo that. Oh, what am I doing wrong there? Okay, it's just kind of like the evolution of that helps so much with just performing.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at GhostCultMag.com. Once again, I am super stoked to be joined by Jeff Fabb, a Black Label Society solo artist, famous musician, drummer extraordinaire. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Keith. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, how's it going? How's everything these days?
Everything's cool. Super busy lately, but that's good.
It seems like you work a lot, which is a good thing for a musician these days. The business gets tougher and tougher year in and year out. Even if you've got a great gig, even if you're super well known and have endorsements and great relationships, I feel like the challenges are ever present more than ever for a musician.
I feel like you got to hustle every day, dude. I mean, I'm up first thing in the morning, cup of coffee, and then I'm working on something. All day long.
Many cups of coffee sometimes, and
Many,
uh,
many, many.
many, but and at the same time, like I said, it's a good time. You've been, obviously a lot of BLS activity, but also you've been really percolating, coffee puns, your solo career, which is really great. You had an album out last year, a bunch of singles, about to drop a new single. This is going to run sometime after that comes out, but we're going to plug the hell out of it. I'm sure we'll share the story. I'm super stoked. I got to see the video and hear the song early, and it's a rocker, man.
Thank you, dude.
So just to back up for a second, you've been playing music pretty much all your life since you're a little kid,
Yeah, pretty
and
much. I started at 11.
right, did you always have designs on kind of being your own band, your own front person, or was it like I'm gonna play drums and then branch out?
Yeah, it was pretty much that first. It was always the drums first, and then through the years, just playing and picking. I always kind of played guitar a little bit, but drums that was my main love, my main passion. This all kind of came about later on, obviously, in my career with wanting to do my own solo things.
Out of curiosity, what was the first song or the first drummer you saw that made you want to pick up the sticks and hit things?
It might have been Mitch Mitchell. Hendrix is, I've been watching those old videos on VH1 and things like that. I think it was like that. It was Alex Van Halen. It was, and then it was like, seeing Buddy Rich on the Muppet Show. That was a huge thing for me too. I remember seeing that because I loved Animal, you know what I mean? Like everybody loved Animal, right? And then I remember when him and Animal did the drum battle and all that. I remember just being so. It was like all those cats that really inspired me, And then obviously it was Stuart Copeland and Neil Peart and then it just went on Lars, and then it just went on, as I grew up through the years.
Killer. That Buddy Rich Animal drum off is burned into my brain from watching the. I'm old enough to have seen the original Muppet Show when it was on, and
Yeah.
yeah, we've been very lucky over the years. There's so many greats in the game, and it's cool. It sounds like like you're a very well-rounded background, at least for inspiration. I don't know if you actually play jazz. I know I interviewed a bunch of drummers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a metal guy, but I also play jazz sometimes."
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm
feel like if it's like you're a musician, you like all kinds of things, you know what I mean? I don't, I listen to so many different styles, but yeah, I love jazz, love a lot of jazz drummers, I grew up with, like, they were always in my melting pot of drummers, I had my metal drummers, I had my rock drummers, my jazz drummers, I listened to so many different guys growing up.
right on. That's awesome. And then you said you fiddled with guitar. I'm also gonna say I don't know if people have slept on your solo stuff so far, but you are a great singer. You might give the boss a run for his money because you can really you sing your ass off.
I'm trying, man. It's like I tell everybody, it's just practice, and like even with drumming or whatever your instrument is, if it's your voice, it's a guitar, drums, record yourself because that's the best way to learn. Like for me, like it's just like when I started, I'd record and be like, oh, that sounds terrible, Let me record, let me redo that. Oh, let me redo that. Oh, what am I doing wrong there? Okay, it's just kind of like the evolution of that helps so much with just performing. I don't know. I can't say that like just because I wasn't a singer. I mean, I just kind of just taught myself. And plus, you're influenced by people that you listen to, right? So it's just Alice in Chains and, Zach, and like all these cats, you know what I mean? So, but I feel like, just recording yourself and listening back, no matter what you're doing, what you're doing, whether you're singing or playing, it's just so helpful.
Right on. I'm glad you brought up AIC because I was going to say you have like a quality that's not unlike a Jerry Cantrell, but also a Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age and Caius. I'm a big fan. You've got like a very similar, very mellifluous quality there to your range. And really, really tight stuff. I love the use of your voice. It's not natural for everybody else, let alone people who you've spent a whole lifetime plying your trade at another instrument, and voice is an instrument just like everything else. So it's really cool to hear you step out.
Dude, it's so cool to do, honestly. Like, I love doing it. I love playing everything. I love learning. I'm always constantly learning, working on things, and harmonies, and like harmonies with guitars, and learning all these. It's just like I love it, and it's just like I'm just trying to do it every day as much as, and just get better at it every day. That's it. And I love hearing feedback. I love hearing people's feedback. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, even people that don't necessarily like list, like they like the true like metlers, you know what I mean, that I love all of that too, but they even give me the love, like, man, this is like, it doesn't sound anything like Black Label, but it's cool, man. It's awesome. I love it.
Right, of course, if you sounded too much like BLS, they would give you a hard time also. But I would imagine those fans are so great, and I count myself as a fan. Yeah, I have to imagine that they've hopefully checked you out and had an opportunity to dig on your stuff too, because I know that people are obsessive. They've looked up like Dario's shred videos and JD's bass playthroughs, so I hope that they've also supported you.
They have, man. They're nothing but love, and they're the best, definitely.
And you somehow squeezed in a whole record last year while touring, which is insane. And and Zach is always working, not necessarily only BLS, but he just seems to always have something going on. So as the rest of the guys need to also.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great inspiration, I mean, to see him go and go and go, and he's writing songs, he's touring with this, he's touring with that, like, just kind of being around him, he's been a great inspiration just to see his work ethic, I guess, just wear off on me a little bit maybe, or something, or just see, like, it doesn't matter like what level you are, you're always hustling.
I love it. Also, I have to say, I think it's cool, really cool that again, you put this record out. I don't know how long you worked on that record before it dropped, and how you fit it in a release schedule of, again, a very busy 23 for you. And then you've just come right back with these additional brand new singles and videos, which is, there's a lot of creativity going on there. And I love this new single that's about to drop is Cedo Evil. It's a killer song, maybe one of my favorites you've put out between everything. And yeah, man, it's a really impressive song.
Cool. I'm stoked for everyone to hear it. Yeah, like you said, it's a lot because I'm doing the videos. I do all the videos myself, and I do everything. So it's like, man, it's a full-time gig just doing this. The first record, just to kind of touch on what you were asking me before, because I didn't really answer you, but the Stealing Souls record, I kind of started that when that started when COVID hit. Because no one was doing anything for 2 years or whatever it was. So I had started writing the songs that ended up on that were started during that time. I wrote a bunch before I picked those songs. Some of them were some originals there that I worked on more, through the time. But and then I just kept going. Like, even though that released, I was like the next morning, I was up to coffee on the computer, like starting the guitar. I just started writing right away, and I just kept that going. So that's why I had this material too. That's coming up. And I'm glad. You know what I mean? Because it's just I always have something to draw from, to work on. So far. Because I've had some time off, you know what I mean? I just took advantage of this time off we've had, and I'm like, okay, before we start up again, I know we're going to be super busy when we do, so I'm just going to try to get as much as I can in the can.
Very cool. And of course, it's not just about pursuing that artistry. You're also it's a work ethic thing. So you're grinding away. I will ask you though, because at the same time, there's really no off days in the business. Obviously, you have to also give yourself a break. If you come off tour, you gotta heal. I can't walk and chew gum. I can't imagine imagine playing drums every day on tour, like, kill me. But, you know, I'm sure you take good care of yourself and all that.
Yeah, we have, you have to, especially as you're getting older, man. You know what I'm saying? The up all night party and all day thing is kind of done. You know what I mean? So I just, we play, and I'm in my pajamas on the bus, hanging out with the fellas, like just laughing about some stupid stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? And then try to get to sleep as early as I can. I still kind of stay up late with JD and stuff because he's a night owl. So we'll end up watching. I'll watch like Bonanza with him or whatever the hell, some old shows. You know what I mean? We end up staying up late, but we're all pretty much taking care of ourselves these days, besides, knocking each other out on videos and stuff like that. But, yeah, pretty much everybody's healthy, and happy and just loving what we do, and everyone's grateful, and it's a good time, man. It's a good time. It's like, you're playing music, and I tell everybody, it's like, just if you want to do this, just keep doing it, even in the hardest times, and when it feels like maybe it's not going to happen, or just don't feel alone in that. Like, everybody's felt that before. Everybody's going through what the hell am I doing? Like, shit, I still go through that. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you just got to persevere. You got to keep going. Most of the songs I write about are that. It is about that, So, yeah, it's about keeping yourself together. I mean, you can't be, you can't, like you just asked, you can't be, are you healthy? You keep yourself, yeah, you got to be, And another thing is, nobody really wants to be around like a total fucking disaster. You know what I mean? Like nobody really wants to deal with that. They don't want to deal with that, and they don't want to deal with an asshole. So like, keep your shit straight, and even if you're great, don't be a dick. Be humble.
I mean, that's some wise words, my friend. Don't be a dick, and humble. Try to be humble.
Be an easy hang,
You got to be able to get along in this business. You can be talented. I've known plenty of genius level talented people who are not good people, and they didn't go very far, or as far as they could have, because of that holding them back. And everybody knows, and nobody can talk about it. Like, people are, it's a shame. But at the same time, your reputation precedes you as a good guy, and I don't really believe in luck. I think a lot of people make their own luck, and you've been, talented guy at the right place at the right time, ready to go. And I think that's probably the story of your career in a lot of ways, right?
It totally is. And it's also not giving up, like I said before, because there was many moments, I was from in this moment. I started in this moment, right? And like I tell this story a lot, we all lived in a public storage together. We lived, like, Chris was the manager. We lived upstairs in the above the office together. We practiced in there, and there were so many times him and I would just be talking. We'd just be like, man, is this gonna happen? Like, oh my God, like, we were watching people get signed around us, and you know what I mean? We were like grinding, and we were like, and it was just like those moments. It's like, you just got to keep going, because once you stop, you don't know what was around that corner. Like, it could have been right around that corner, that your opportunity was about to present itself. So with me, it was I just didn't stop, I guess,
Right on. And I was talking about work ethic before. You want to know two of the hardest working people of all time in modern music, Chris and Maria, right? Like, oh my God, just tireless.
Totally, man. I mean, I remember him sitting on like MySpace, when it first came out, and he would be on there all day, every day, like just adding friends, doing that. Yeah, I mean, it was we were just all hustling together, and it was just one of those. And then also what we did though is we started touring. Like, we were touring before we had like any sort of management or anything. Like, we were doing a circuit from LA to Texas, boom, 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 boom. We were doing that with other bands that were doing, like we would tour with other bands that were already touring, all unsigned, and then, like, so when people found us, they were like, oh, they're already doing it. It wasn't like, well, we're not doing it. We're just waiting for everybody to get a record deal. And like, no, that doesn't. Maybe that works for some. That didn't work for us. We had to go out and grind. So I would suggest, like, to kids, like, just start. Like, don't wait around for anybody, because you're going to be wasting time.
Great advice. Again, I was gonna say just randomly, I feel like I remember you on the one of those first Mayhem Fests when the band
Yeah.
first got signed, and I remember the band went on at like 9 a.m. on a blazing hot day. I was living on the East Coast back then, and it was like a jillion degrees, and Maria came out in the prom dress that was vinyl, and y'all slayed it. But it was like really people were like rubbing the crusties out of their eyes, and
Totally.
not, I think 9, 10 a.m. start time in the parking lot. So again, those experiences take you to where you are today. Obviously, playing all over the world, and yeah, man, it's a fantastic journey. Clearly, and a lot of stops in between. Also, we don't want to gloss over, but is this solo stuff is so cool. Like I said, I think it's really great for you to have this. Any thoughts of doing gigs or putting a band together and going out on the road with this project, or just no
Yeah,
time?
I definitely would love to. I was thinking about maybe doing some shows this summer. I got some friends that are all down to play and do it, so I'm definitely would love to do it. Again, I'm just trying to finish. I'm putting out a single every 4 weeks right now because I figured, what the hell, right? So I'm gonna do that and then get into the summer, and then I think I'm gonna maybe do some shows in the summer. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be interesting, right? So I mean, yeah, I'm stoked for it. I'm definitely stoked for it.
That's killer. You could put together a group of your friends, basically. All of California's, replete with musicians, and I'm sure you got a nice network of pals you could put together to work who've worked on music with you, or you could, cherry pick and see who's around while the boss is on tour with Pantera, and
Yeah.
before other, Berserkist Festival and things like that are coming up in September, which is very exciting
Yeah,
for
that's going to be
Pet.
awesome. I'm really stoked on that. Hopefully it turns into like an Ozfest type thing.
That
That
would
would be
be that would be killer. Again, I miss an Ozfest, a Mayhem Fest, even the sort of the more spread out, not fests that were more of a regular like a touring thing rather than one. I would love to see it. And again, it's a good part of the country. I don't remember where you're from back east, but that part of Pennsylvania is thick with fans.
totally is. Yeah, I'm from Long Island, New York, so I'm right
No
there.
shit. All right,
Yeah,
I'm a New York City guy myself, so I
yeah,
love
yeah. So yeah, man,
Strong Island.
Strong Island, Strong Island,
Whereabouts? Whereabouts?
way out east in Suffolk County.
Oh,
I'm from a small town called Mattatuck, which
okay.
when I was a kid was really really small out there. I mean, it was tiny, and that's kind of what my reason why for moving. I moved to LA in '98 because I just wanted to play with more people. Our scene out here when I was a kid, I tell people it was mostly hardcore. We were playing in basements and playing basement shows. We were all underage, so and there wasn't clubs really. So there was a whole like basement hardcore scene going on Long Island, and that's where we were cutting our teeth, man. And it was a really cool time. I look back on it, it was just like that was pretty awesome.
Killer, man. That's great to hear. I do want to ask you. I love these music videos. They're really creative and cool, and I know you do them yourself. There is currently a humongous amount of controversy about AI. Just in general, people are scared of technology in the future. Judas Priest put out a lyric video today that's all AI. It looks really cool. It looks very well done. GNR had one a few months ago. Was a little rough, but again, this is a new technology. Yours are looking very fine and finished. Are you like literally designing them yourself? Do you have help? How
Yeah,
are you
like
doing?
I'm editing it all. It's not like I'm just like I know there's a lot of text to video things, and it is some of that obviously because you are texting like your information in, but I have to cut and I'll put it into like an editing software and edit it all myself. So it takes a long time because if you want to keep your characters looking the same, you have to continuously like make sure that you're either storyboarding or you got to make sure that you're keeping the descriptive things together, like the hair color or the eye color or what they're wearing or things like that. So it's not just like you're just putting in okay, blah 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 boom, and then like the whole thing pops up and then I post it. You know what I mean? It's like it takes me a while. And plus, what I'll do is like let's say like the song is 3 minutes. I'll do like 4 3-minute videos of different content, and then I'll piece all that stuff together. Like so, basically, it's not just like one 3-minute piece of content that I use. It's actually like 4 3-minute pieces of content that I'll edit together. But yeah, I do everything.
Right on. So you're working on it personally. I know there's a lot of fear about, we don't want to work away from album cover designers and video directors, and but also like let's be like for the guys in Judas Priest, they don't all live in the same place. They're spread out all over the world until they're on tour. And so, maybe they can't get together to shoot a video, which costs time, money. If they want to do a lyric video that's AI, they're Judas Priest. Like, they've done so much. Like, they can make an AI video. GNR can make an AI video. You can make an AI video. But there's a big fan and band, like, there's a weird tug of war going on right now where I think it's just so new and people are not accustomed to it. And you just got to give it I'm not saying, like, let's all go wholesale, everybody do one. But also at the same time, like, judge slowly. This is brand new technology. I feel like, we're not going to totally replace people with, AI stuff just yet. It's not going to be like Terminator and the machines are going to take over. It's not yet.
I mean, the only reason, honestly, for me, it's just because I'm doing everything on my own. It's just like, okay, what can I do on my own where I don't have to wait for anybody, right? Remember we were just talking about that, like waiting around for people. Like, so for me, it was like, oh, well, I can do videos like this. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just like figuring out like what I can do on my own where I don't have to rely on anybody, because that's where like it can become, a pain in the ass, you know what I mean? When you're relying on people. And also, if you don't have a huge budget for like videos and things like that, then it's also a good thing, like especially for upcoming bands and, artists that don't have tons of money to put into like, hiring somebody to do their video for them. This is another way to do it,
I don't remember people being angry at drones when drones started to become in fashion and really spread and popularized. Like, oh, aerial photography guys are going to lose their helicopters and jobs and lenses because you use the drone. I didn't hear one person say drones are bad. So, to me, it's the same thing. Of course, we don't want to go the whole way where like, oh, this is every single thing is AI. But like, I think it's okay. And certainly, again, it's like Charlie Chaplin or Peter Sellers. It gives you control over your art when you can put things out. You have a freedom that I often say, like, this is one of the with all the complications and some of the pitfalls of being in the business. I think on the plus side, you're able to do things independently that a lot of other people could not do years ago. You can be your own studio. You can direct your own videos. You can edit your own videos. You can put out your own music.
Yeah, you can put out your own music. You can get your own music out on all the platforms. That being said, that means that there's like a million uploads of music every day or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? So there's more, you know what I mean? So there's definitely, that created a whole nother thing now where there's actually so much. It's like, you better come up with something that's going to catch people's attention because there's so much out there right now, so like when we were growing up, I was waiting on lines, you know what I mean? For the record to come out at music stores, and now it's like every day there's like something new. It's like, wow, it's crazy.
I'm trying to think about like my Long Island record stores, like The Wall for CDs in the late 90s probably, or something like that. Buy a CD and trade it in for a brand new one, like forever. Like, that was like one of the coolest things ever. I don't think and CDs were a very high price for a long time, right? Of course, they were overpriced for a long time. So it was like $23, but like, oh, you got a scratch? Here's a new one. You want to trade that Ozzy in for Slayer? Here you go. It was magical. Kids will never know because they have everything. But get off my lawn. But
they like the vinyl. The vinyl's coming back.
Yeah, it really is. I have a podcast about vinyl. I'm a big vinyl fan. I never thought in a million years it was going to make this kind of comeback, and I'm glad it did because I like album art, and my first records were like Kiss with the inserts and the stickers and the lyrics, and it was like just stare at the record cover for hours and do nothing, when I should have been outside probably playing ball. But yeah, man, just a
few thing, man.
Just a few more questions for you, man. You've been terrific. Of course, I imagine you have a home studio. When you get inspired to make a song, do you get like a riff in your head, or you jam guitar and then record your ideas? Or do you?
Mostly I'll just grab guitar, acoustic guitar, and I just start like either it's chords or a riff, and then I just start hacking away, and then then I'm like, okay, cool. That's a cool like verse. Where can I go where can I go from there? Okay, boom, boom, boom. And then I'll just start writing that way. I don't ever really go, okay, I got this idea for a song. You know what I mean? I don't think I ever did that. Like, I was just more like jamming. Everything in my life was always jamming. I mean, that's how I learned how to play music, honestly. My first music teacher, that's what he did with me. He was a guitar player. His name is Mark. His name is Mark LaRosa. He's like a legend around here. He gives everybody lessons. He'd come over with his guitar and his amp, and it was just like, for me, I was 11 years old and I had never jammed with anybody, so like that was how he taught me. He would just start jamming on a riff, and I would start rocking out with him, and that's how I learned. So I think I kind of like, that's how I write. You know what I mean? I just start jamming, and then it kind of like, you know, with the lyrics, and then it starts to become something, you know. But it takes, just start. You know, just start doing it, and then it'll turn into something.
Yeah, of course, man. That sounds like everybody's journey. It was my journey also. I think I used to walk like 20 mile and a half both ways uphill with a bass and an amp to my buddy's house. And that's how we did it also. Same. Everybody's the same. You know, I love to end these interviews with a wild card question. It's like one of my favorite things. I pick one out especially for everybody. So if you could meet 3 drummers that are no longer here that you never got to see in person, who would you want to meet?
I'd want to meet Buddy Rich. I'd want to meet Mitch Mitchell, and who else would I want to meet? I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm trying to think of somebody besides Tony Williams, I guess. Never got to meet.
Fantastic pick. Yeah, Tony is. People need to go back and look up Tony. Tony's incredible. Also, yeah.
He was a bad motherfucker, man. He was bad.
Right on. Jeff Fabb, man, thank you so much for hanging out with Ghost Cult today. Congratulations on all the solo stuff. We'll be looking out for more singles and videos from you. And, of course, when you get back out on the road with BLS, man, thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely, man. When I get some physical copies, I'll send you some, too.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much. You can contact me through Raquel. She's the best.
Awesome, dude. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for your support, bud.
Anytime. Peace.